you can check us out at oakwoodlending.com. I've been a TRIA member since 2012 and a vendor lender member since 2016. Looking forward to doing business with you. Reach out to us at oakwoodlending.com.
Hello, everyone. My name is Melvin Williams, and I've been a member of TRIA for almost 3 months now. And the reason I joined TRIA was to learn more about trying to be an investor and also learning from some active experienced investors. Again, I am a new member and I'm as green as a spring leaf. Areas of interest that interest me most is probably rehabbing and obtaining rental property. Just a little bit about myself. I'm currently working at a company called Sears Contract. We are a construction company and we build commercial buildings, interior and exterior walls. I've been doing that type of work now for probably 20 years. I enjoy building from ground up. I am interested in the real estate aspects of it. I've done some rehabbing for landlords and also other rehabbers. I believe that I could bring something good to the table in this and learn something as well. Opportunity to do charity work. I believe that you guys can, under the right mentorship, that you can mold me into a good investor. I believe that can happen. One of the benefits that I've seen that TRIA offer is their classes, and everybody seems to be, polite. They don't mind offering their friendship, the energy, and the members and the environment. It's very pleasant. I'm gonna leave it right there. My contact is you can reach me at my cell at 919-308-6197, or you can email me at melvinw9375@gmail.com. Thank you.
My baby left me for the northern tree with a wintry windows blow. Oh, I waited but time is never passed so slow. Way down south in North Carolina, where the moon hangs bright and low. Oh, I knew the days so long. Working my fingers to the bone. I'll be waiting when you come on home. Oh, to me. I've kept the fires burning way down low. Oh, But time has never passed so slow. Way down south in North Carolina, where the moon hangs bright and low. Oh, I knew the days along, working my fingers to the bone. I'll be waiting when you come on home. Oh, to me, I've kept the fires burning way down low. Oh, only me. The days are shorter and the nights are long. The hours go crawling by. Oh, hang my head and cry. How I'm longing for my dawn. I keep on listening for your key in the door. Will I drive myself insane? Oh, and my arms once more.
Hey, trade members. My name is Ryan Groff with New Western Acquisitions. I am the broker in charge here in Raleigh. Hey, trade members. My name is Ryan Groff with New Western Acquisitions. I am the broker in charge here in Raleigh. And we've done a lot of business with a lot of you guys, and thank you all for the business and look forward to doing a lot more. I'm just here today to hope everyone's safe out there. I hope everyone's staying healthy and wishing everyone the best through these tough times. But to kind of share you a little bit about what we do here at New Western. We consider ourselves a full service brokerage, investment brokerage that specializes in helping investors from A to Z and back. Now, what we mean by that is our primary product that we offer is our properties. We get about 15 off-market direct-to-seller deals each month here in the Triangle area. And when I say the Triangle area, I mean primarily in Raleigh, Durham, Cary, Fuquay, those areas, not necessarily the rural outskirt areas. Besides that, we also have in-house financing. If you were looking to purchase a property, we could get you pre-approved and fully approved that day for a property with very competitive rates nationally. We also have heavily vetted contractors in the area, as far as general contractors all the way down to subcontractors for AC, roof, electrician, etc. We also are all licensed here. As I mentioned, I'm the broker in charge. Everyone is licensed. And because of that, we're able to refer you out to the best listing agents in each area, or the cheapest, or flat fee listing, or if you need a good property manager, we know a lot of good property managers in the area. So we're really looking to, make some more connections with y'all, help some more of y'all with your investing goals. And I just wanted to tell you a little bit about us. We've been around since 808, where we started in Dallas, Texas. Since then, we've expanded to about 40 offices nationwide. We've done over 18,000 investment properties, and for a little bit over 2.3 trillion in revenue. So I would look forward to doing business with y'all. Look forward to making more connections. And please feel free to contact us anytime, and an agent will be more than happy to speak with you. We are continuing to do deals right now, and there's continued opportunities out there. So I look forward to meeting more of y'all and doing more business. Thanks.
My baby left me for the North Country. fingers to the bone. I'll be waiting when you come on home. Oh, me. I've kept the fires burning way down low. Oh, me. The days are shorter and the nights are long. The hours go crawling by. Oh, hang my head and cry. How I'm longing for my darling. I keep on listening for your key in the door. Will I drop myself in?
Hello, everyone. Welcome to TRIA 360. We have a great program for you tonight. Before we get started, just a few announcements. As you saw on some of our slides, we have some new programs coming up. One, if you would like to have a more experienced member as a mentor, send us an email or just put a note in the chat there today and say, I'm interested in having a mentor. If you're one of our more experienced members, which I see we have a few on here, and would like to be a mentor, same, send us an email at triaprojects@gmail.com or stick a note in the chat. Hey, James Clark is interested in having a mentor. So we have a list, and we also have a list of mentors. And as soon as we get a few more, we'll be putting that program together. Also, if you want to do a member spotlight video like you saw tonight with Melvin, we have several of those that we, Moni Peebles is interested in having a mentor. See, if y'all experienced members, y'all could make some money if you're into it. If you want to do a member spotlight, we rotate those through the meeting. So we welcome you. You could be a new member, experienced member. You could just introduce yourself to people. If you're looking for a deal, if you're looking for a partner, whatever you want to say, just let us know. Stick a note in the chat here or send us an email. Also, if we are doing, we tried it the other night and it worked out well. We did a Who's Got What on Zoom, and we want to continue that. We have to remember to announce it to you in advance of the meeting, though we haven't done that yet, but we'll let you know. And it doesn't have to be just a Who's Got What. You can do any kind of announcement. If you just did a deal and you want to tell people about it, and you don't have to do it on video. You can just make us a slide and we'll unmute you in the Zoom meeting and you can tell the whole meeting whatever you want. So wins, announcements, yeah, I just had your first grandbaby, you just flipped a house, whatever. And then remember that since we can't meet in person, which, you know, these meetings are great, actually, they're going really well and people are loving them and we're having some great topics. But just not the same as meeting in person and shaking hands and meeting your forever financial friend. So we are doing that the best we can. Deborah Hedrick needs a mentor as well. We're doing that the best we can through the things we just talked about and our Facebook networking page. That's the Triangle Real Estate Investors Association networking page on Facebook. There's a lot of information going back and forth there every day. And y'all know, how many of y'all, I did a little Facebook Live today to announce this meeting. It's the first time I've done it. I don't know if y'all saw me pull hair, don't care. I showered after. But it gave me an idea when I was doing that to do a little like 15-minute live networking thing every day. If that sounds interesting to you, send me a note in the chat. That's something I could just announce it every morning. Hey, at 2 p.m. today, this can be a live networking. Anyone who's interested could come there and announce whatever they want on Facebook Live. So I don't know. It's just an idea I had today. But that's all the announcements. We don't have all the topics for next week, but we do have a full week of meetings next week. So be watching your emails. Those will be coming at you. Tonight is our Real Estate 360. This is a newer program. This is only our third installment. And this is going to be a virtual meeting. Even when we go back to our live meetings, this one's going to stay on Zoom. And it's designed to bring weird, funky, different, unusual things, and not necessarily, but things we don't normally cover. So alternate ways to invest in real estate, where it's the goal is to bring you the entire spectrum of real estate, hence the name 360. Tonight, what we have for you is super cool. It's investing in tax liens. This is something you can do. Doesn't even have to be in your home state. Don't even have to leave your house if you don't want to. And we have Joanne Musa with us. She is the tax lien lady. She is very experienced in this topic. Joanne hails out of Pennsylvania, and she is going to tell you everything you need to know about buying tax liens. So without further ado, Joanne, take it away. Oh, sorry, one thing. If you have questions of something that she's talking about as she goes along, put them in the chat. She will also take questions at the end. Sorry, Joanne, now it's all yours.
Thank you, Kathy. Thank you so much. Well, I am honored to be here and humbled. You guys have an awesome organization. And for everybody that has your picture or your video on, you look great. One beautiful people here, but what you're doing is different than the other RIAs that I've been to. So I really want to congratulate you about that. And how you're doing your operation here. And I'm really pleased to be here, and weird, different, unusual, maybe. But let me, before I start, I do have a presentation for you. Before I started, I just want to find out how many of you guys know what a tax lien is. You could put it in the chat. Kathy can let me know. If we have anybody that says, yeah, I know what a tax lien is, I'm familiar with them, or no, I haven't a clue.
Roberto Mason says yes. Moni Peebles says vaguely.
Okay, all right. Has anybody bought a tax lien or a tax deed?
George Morazzo, I know what it is, but I don't know how to leverage to make money. Roberto Mason, yes, has bought one. Gregory Page, no, but I want to. Joe Bennett, yes. Anthony Rivera, I've heard of them. George Mazzaro, no, I have not bought any. Steve Hand, I have a general idea. Unpaid taxes, first position. Eric Johnson,
Yeah.
never bought. Alexis Stizza, I just put an offer in one in Johnson County last week. Yay, Alexis, that's cool.
Okay, all right. Yeah, and North Carolina is different. I will tell you, every state is different. And anybody that tells you that they're an expert all over the country is really not telling you the truth. I will tell you, I am not an expert in North Carolina. North Carolina is a deed state. I do know a little bit about North Carolina, but I haven't personally invested there. I have personally been to South Carolina, Tennessee, do a lot of my investing in New Jersey, and those are three, well, actually two different types of tax sales. New Jersey is liens. Tennessee and South Carolina are redeemable deeds, different from North Carolina. And I live in Pennsylvania and have gone to the deed sales here in Pennsylvania, which are different than the ones in North Carolina. Because here, when you go to the deed sale in Pennsylvania, it's a live bidding situation. The price of the property gets bid up, but you walk out you don't walk out with the deed in hand, but you walk out having paid for that deed, and the deed is going to be sent to you. In North Carolina, it ain't so. You're the highest bidder, you won that deed, you won that property, and then you have to wait 10 days to see if anybody else is going to bid more than you. So it's not the best state for that reason. And there's one other reason why it's not the best state. Most counties don't have much available. A lot of them only have one. They'll have a tax sale and they'll only have one. However, if you live there, you guys live there, and I always suggest the best place to start is your backyard. All right, enough chit chat. Let me show my screen here and give you the, let's see.
While you're doing that, Steve Hand's asking, in Pennsylvania, do you have to pay cash for the deed?
Yes, you do. You have to pay cash, and they give you an hour to go get it. Well, not cash per se, but a certified. They will not take cash. It has to be a certified fund. So you have to go to the bank, get your certified, take the cash out, get your certified check, and then come back and pay for it. And they give you an hour to do that. Not like North Carolina, again, where sometimes you get some, you only have to put 5% or 10% down, depending on what kind of sale you go to. And then they'll give you some more time to come up with the rest. Not so in most states. In most states, you've got to have the money in hand. All right, so we all know what we're talking about here. We're going to talk about tax lien profits, but guess what? Not just tax lien profits. We're also going to talk a little bit about tax deeds as well and redeemable deeds. So let's get started here. Also, I've got a lot of free stuff for you guys, so stick around. This is one of my longtime members and clients, Birgit, who lives in Colorado. And she says, Joanne taught me what made me a successful tax lien investor in today's market. I can fully trust her recommendations and extensive experience. And she has investments in 3 other states besides tax liens in the state she lives in Colorado. So who am I? Why do you want to listen to me anyway? As you guys already found out, I'm known online as the Tax Lien Lady. I also have a book on Amazon on tax lien investing, and it was a bestseller when we launched it in 2016. And I've been an investor in tax liens since 2002, and a speaker and trainer. I'm the founder of my website, taxlienlady.com. And actually, this slide says for over 10 years, I've been training people how to get high single-digit and double-digit returns without the typical risk of real estate investing or the uncertainty of the stock market. Well, now it's more like 15 years. I've been doing it since 2005. And I'm going to give you my story, let you know how I got started. And because I don't tell people what they want to hear, I have, I tell them the truth, not always what they want to hear. So I have a reputation of being the most trusted authority on tax lien investing because of that. So this is a picture of my book, The Tax Lien Investing Secrets, how you can get 8 to 36% return on your money without the typical risk of real estate or real estate investing or the uncertainty of the stock market. And also I was mentioned in the 2013 issue, January 2013 issue of Forbes. They did an article on tax lien investing, and they first contacted me, and then they wanted to contact one of my students, and so they contacted him, and he put in a plug for me. They interviewed him. They kind of took what I told them and made the journalist who interviewed me and made her own story out of what I told her. So, but at least she mentioned me thanks to my student. All right, so this training is for you if you're looking for a way to invest your money without the risk of the stock market. Now, you guys are real estate investors. You're already doing that. But what I do is I use real estate investing as a way, or I use tax lien investing, because I do real estate investing too, but not on a very large scale. As a matter of fact, for the last 2 years, my market has been kind of crazy, so I haven't even done it. I haven't purchased a house in the last 2 years, but I like using other people's money for my real estate deals. And I like using my own money. I use tax lien investing as a way to invest it as an alternative to the stock market. So I use my own money for tax lien investing, and I like to use other people's money for the real estate investing that I do. So this is for you if you're looking for an alternative to the stock market. Especially for the money in your retirement account that you might have lost some of it in the last couple of months, although it's been going back up. You want to save your money at a better rate than you're getting in the bank or money market CD, and you want to control real estate without owning the property, or you want to own property without investing huge amounts of money. Because at these tax deed sales, at least in the ones in my state and other states I'm going to tell you about that have there are tax sales coming up that are tax deed states, you actually get to own the property when you're the high bidder at the sale. And some of these sales are not they are a competitive bidding, but they're not a public auction. A lot of these sales are public auctions, but some of them are not. I'm not going to be able to go over that tonight, but that's one of the things that I share with my students. We find those kind of out of the way sales that are a little bit different, not your usual public auctions. All right, so what you will learn tonight is how I got started almost 20 years ago. I'll tell you that story. The 7 steps to building your profitable tax lien portfolio and the 6 things you need to know before you start. And it's not on this slide, but I'm also going to bust one of the biggest myths that a lot of tax lien investing gurus tell you that is totally wrong. And also how to get training tools and resources that you need to invest profitably in tax liens or tax deeds, and how you could do it in the next few weeks. And this is me. I don't in the white hair. You probably can't see my pointer here, but that white-haired lady sitting in the back row, this is a tax lien sale in New Jersey, and this is me sitting here. And this is a small sale, but guess what? There's probably just as many bidders sitting in these seats, or maybe more bidders than there are properties available for liens in this sale. And this is how I started. This is I'll tell you something though. When I started back in 2002, my hair wasn't white yet. It was still dark. Actually, I was still dyeing it. That's why it was still dark, because I started this in my 40s. And you already know, so I'm giving away my age here because you already know I've been doing this for close to 20 years. So anyway, I started going to tax sales in New Jersey because the thing about New Jersey, unlike some states that have tax lien sales, they only have them once a year. Well, in New Jersey, it's done on the municipal level. So all the cities and towns have their own tax sales. It's not big county sales like it is in a lot of other places. And they can all determine when they want to have their sales. So any given day in New Jersey, there could be a few tax sales all at the same time, on the same day. So I just started going to tax sales in New Jersey. Now I live in Pennsylvania, and these are my 3 adult sons who still live at home. And this is me and my husband down in the lower right-hand corner at a Tony Robbins 3-day event. We actually walked on fire and did all that. And this in the upper right is a picture of the whole family when we were all a little bit younger. But this is where I live now. This is our yard in Pennsylvania. We live in the Pocono Mountains in Pennsylvania. This is a guy this is Dan from Oklahoma, who got my state guide, which is something I'm going to give to you guys today. And he bought his first house, and he was a carnival worker, and he stopped having to live on the road. And that's him in front of his first house that he bought at a deed sale. This is Birgit again. She increased her profits from tax liens and owns properties in, I've got to move these pictures here because they're in my way, in 3 other states that she got all from tax liens that she was able to get. And this is Alvaro from Canada, who bought properties in a Michigan tax sale. So anyway, I started going to these tax sales in New Jersey, and then I was trying to figure this out, because really it was a good old boys club. And I met this other gentleman who was also trying to figure it out, because even though it was a good old boys club, if you're not in the club, they kind of didn't let you in, Things got bid up really high. Now back then, today there's a lot of hedge funds involved. Back then there were only 2 tax lien investing funds, not big hedge funds, but tax lien investing funds. And they went to every sale in the state. And then there were some other funds, but they didn't go to every sale in the state. And then there were the individual investors. And so I kept bumping into this guy at these sales, and he turns out he was a millionaire in New Jersey and who owned a couple of businesses in New Jersey, and asked me if I would work for him. And he was after the bigger liens and I was after the smaller ones. So I said, yeah, sure, I'll work for you. I even helped him develop a software program to track these liens. And I was able to develop a decent sized portfolio for him and a small portfolio for myself. Now, in order to do that, remember, there could be a whole bunch of sales on the same day, all at the same time. I hired 5 people, 5 women, 5 other women, and I taught them how to do due diligence, how to bid at the sale, and how to buy these liens. And then I realized that there were people all over the country who wanted to learn how to do this. And I didn't know how to do it all over the country. So what did I do? I started interviewing people from different states. I interviewed experts from other states. And back in those days, we didn't have Zoom. We didn't even have GoToWebinar. We had teleseminars. So I did these free teleseminars and interviewed people from around the country. And then on tax lien investing. But what I found with tax liens is that it was a way that I could invest without a lot of money, without needing good credit scores, without any negotiation, because back then I wanted to be a real estate investor. This is before I invested in real estate. I didn't have a background in finance or real estate. The only property that I had ever bought and sold at that time was the first condo that we had lived in. And at that time, my husband and I didn't have good credit scores either. And one thing I did not like to do was negotiate. My husband was good at that because he bought and sold used construction equipment, but that's something that I didn't like to do. So this is a way that I could invest my money without doing any of that, because in most states, the tax collector does everything. You don't even deal with the delinquent taxpayer. The tax collector does. Okay, and I was able to generate huge returns on my money without any undue risk, and I'll show you an example of that in a little while. But here's why tax lien investing works for you guys that just have a vague idea of what it is. Okay, a tax lien certificate rivals the returns of the stock market without undue risk, and that's because if you've ever not paid your taxes, the one thing I learned from this business is pay your taxes before you do anything else, because they will charge you through the nose with penalties, interest rates, and if you don't pay, guess what? Well, in your state, they're going to sell your house out from under you. In my state too, they'll just sell your house out from under you. But in other states, they will sell the tax bill on your property. And the normal thing that they can charge anywhere between 8 to 36% interest or penalties, depending on what state it is. So you can generate 5 to 10 times what you're making in other safe investments, like your CD, your money market CD, that's paying you maybe 1%, and that you have to put a whole lot of money in just to open one up. Right? Maybe you're getting 2 or 3%. That's really good. But then you'd had to put a whole bunch of money in there. Well, you could buy these tax liens for a couple $1,000s. There's liens you could buy for a couple $100s. Okay. So tax lien investing eliminates the risk of investing in the stock market, including mutual funds, while producing bigger returns than you can get in the bank. So that's what I like to use it for. But I'm not just known as an expert. And I'm not just, I just don't have testimonials from the people that I work with, but also from other people in the industry. This is Rachel Seidensticker. She is COO of Tax Sale Resources. And she says, Joanne stands above others in her class with her integrity and vast nationwide knowledge that many others cannot provide. So what is a tax lien exactly? Okay, here's how it works. As I mentioned before, when you purchase the lien, It's different from a deed. When you purchase a deed, remember you're actually purchasing the property, but when you purchase a lien, you're not purchasing the property, but you're paying the back taxes on a property in order to get the interest rate that the county would normally charge the taxpayer. These rates could be anywhere from 8 to 36 per year, depending on the state, as I mentioned before, right? But it's a win-win for everybody. Actually, it's a win-win-win, because the local government wins. They get the money that they need. See, they need to pay school teachers, policemen, firemen, build roads, and guess where they get that money? From their property taxes. Most of it comes from their property taxes, and they need that money, okay? So it gives them the money they need. They don't have to wait for it. The property owner gets more time to come up with the money for their taxes. Basically, you're giving them a high interest loan, but it sure beats having their property sold right out from under them to pay their taxes, which is what happens in some states, right? Like your state and my state. And the investor, that's you get a high return on a safe investment, because what's guaranteeing your investment? It's not the government, like some gurus throw out, oh, it's government guaranteed. What they mean when they say that, they don't mean you're guaranteed to get paid. They mean that the rate you're getting is guaranteed by the government. It's not going to go down with the stock market, okay? It takes a law, has to be changed before you're, and guess what? The rate that you're already getting is not going to change. Only the rates on tax liens that will be sold in the future will change if the law changes. It takes a change of law for your rate to change, not like the stock market where anything can happen and what you're getting can just disappear, okay? All right, so it is a win-win for everybody, but as we talked about, not all states do this, right? But how would you like to know? Would you like to know which states have tax lien sales coming up just in the next month? Is that something that would interest you guys? Yes, I see somebody shaking their head. Yes, okay.
Yeah.
All right, okay, well, let me tell you. Louisiana, New Jersey, Wyoming, Montana, Vermont, but that's not all. Maryland, Rhode Island, Kentucky, Missouri, Mississippi. Now, these are not all the states that sell tax liens. These are only the ones that have tax liens coming up within the next month. Okay, but as I mentioned, some states don't do that. They will sell the property. Okay, would you like to know which states have tax deed sales coming up in the next month, just in the next month? Yeah? Okay. You ready for this? Of course, North Carolina, I had to put that one at the top. Illinois, Florida, New York, Wisconsin, Virginia, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, Idaho, but I'm not done. Georgia, Texas, Ohio, Louisiana, Nevada, Oklahoma, Delaware, Kansas. This is not all of them. This is only the ones that have a tax deed sale or redeemable deed sale coming up in the next month. Now you might be asking, well, what's a redeemable deed sale? Well, a redeemable deed sale, and let me tell you which of these states are redeemable deed states: Tennessee, Georgia, Texas, Delaware. Those are the redeemable deed states on this list. And what they do is they will sell the deed at the sale. They'll sell the deed to the property, but you don't really own that property because there is a redemption period that the previous owner has to come back and redeem their property. All right, now, each of these states does it differently, and it's like Texas, for instance, when you buy that deed, you are considered the owner of the property, and the previous owner only has a right of redemption. And if they don't pay after the redemption period's over, you've got that deed recorded, you're already the owner, okay? Because you, as a matter of fact, once you get that deed, even if the owner lives there, they now can pay you rent, or you can evict them. You are technically the owner of the property, but they still have time to redeem it, okay? In Georgia, when you buy that deed at the sale, it's another redeemable deed state, but this is different. It's got a 1-year redemption period, and you are not the owner of the property until that redemption period's over. And even when the redemption period's over, you have to get an attorney and foreclose. It's the only redeemable deed state that's like that. In the other redeemable deed states, in Tennessee, in South Carolina, which doesn't have any tax sales coming up in the next month, their tax sales, by the way, are in the fall, and that is one of my favorite states. And another state that you don't see on here is Michigan, because theirs start September 1st. Michigan tax sales, and they're another one of my favorite states. But those are deed, Michigan's a deed state and South Carolina is a redeemable deed state. But the nice thing about Tennessee, South Carolina, Delaware is once that redemption period's over, you get the deed to the property. And you have to record it and the property's yours. You don't have to get a lawyer and foreclose like you do in Georgia. And I'm just checking the chat because I see, okay, I don't have to worry about what's in there. All right. So let me go on here. So this is what a tax lien certificate looks like. And again, it is real estate secured and government regulated. I don't like to use the word government guaranteed because people think, oh, I just have to buy a tax lien and I'm guaranteed to get paid. That's not the truth. What is guaranteeing you? It's the property. So how do you become successful at this? By doing your due diligence on the property. You guys are real estate investors. You know how to do that, okay? And that is one thing that I teach is how to do that successfully. And this is another one of the gifts that I'm going to give you. This is my report on 7 steps to building your profitable tax lien portfolio. It was just updated last year. And here are the 7 steps that I'm going to go over, but you can get more information in this report. I'll tell you where to get it. I'll tell you where to get it when we're done here. This and 2 other gifts that I have for you. So the first thing is to pick the right place to invest, because if you pick the wrong place to invest, it can be a nightmare. Get the tax, or if you pick the wrong place to invest, it might be too competitive and you do all this work and you come away with nothing. So what I teach people, one of the things that I do with my coaching clients and my members is I teach them to get the results of past tax sales, how to do that, so that they know they're not wasting their time and they know how much money they need to start. And that's also something you would do if you're looking for the property. Let's say you want to go to the tax deed sales either in North Carolina or maybe the redeemable deed sales in South Carolina, and you're looking to get the property. Well, then you want to check and see what people are paying for properties before you do all that due diligence and do all that work of going to that sale. All right, then you're going to get the tax sale information. That's the next thing. And then you're going to research the properties and make sure they're worth it. And I do recommend physically looking at the property. And then you're going to prepare to bid, because there's things. Now, somebody had asked me earlier about in Pennsylvania where I go to the tax sales, do I need cash? And yes, I do. I actually need a certified check, and most places you do need a certified check. So guess one of the things that you have to do when you prepare to bid at the sale, you got to make sure that, remember I said I have 1 hour after in Pennsylvania. If I buy something, I have 1 hour to go to my bank and come back with that certified check. Well, fortunately, where I go to these tax sales in Monroe County where I live, my bank is right around the corner. But I did go to South Carolina to a tax sale with a client, and I advised him to find a bank near where the tax sale was and open up a bank account, because his branch wasn't in that town. He didn't have a branch in that town or in that county. So he had to open up an account, put the money in there that he had planned to spend, and make sure that it was available to him on the day of the sale so that he could go after the sale. Because see, you don't know how much money you're going to spend. This is a bidding situation. People, you know how much money you're willing to spend, but you don't know the actual that you're going to need. So you're going to wait until after the sale. They'll give you a receipt, or they'll let you know the exact amount, because there are some fees in there that you're going to pay along with your bid. And then you go get your certified funds, and then you come back and pay for them. So one of the things that you need to do to prepare to bid is make sure that you have a way to get the right funds. And it might mean opening up a bank account near where the tax sale is. And
Jillian,
that's
we
if
have
you're,
a question from Anthony Rivera, which is, does a tax sale clear all the liens?
in some states, yes, and in some states, no. Now, any government lien is going to stay with the property. So if there are other tax liens from other municipal districts, or if there are water liens, sewer liens, they will stay with the property. Another thing in some states that might stay with the property is homeowner association fees. It's different for every state, so you have to look into that. And one thing you could do wherever you go into a sale is just call the tax collector and ask, are there any things that are not cleared up by the tax sale? Now, here's the other thing that I suggest people do is you want to find out, because the whole reason like all these other liens go away, like the mortgage, and if there's a mechanics lien, any other liens that are not government liens are going to go away at a tax sale. Now, I'm not talking about a lien sale. Nothing goes away at a lien sale, but at a deed sale. Okay, at a deed sale, or a redeemable deed sale, they don't go away yet, because remember, even at a redeemable deed sale, you're buying the deed to the property, but the owner has the right of redemption. So that doesn't clear anything yet until you get the property. All right, and that's different for every state. But at a deed sale in North Carolina, in Pennsylvania, where I live, in Pennsylvania, we actually have two different types of sales: an upset sale and a judicial sale. And in the upset sale, those liens are not cleared. And in the judicial sale, they are. And the reason they are is because all those other lien holders have been notified. So one of the things I like to do is go down to the prothonotary office, which is your Hall of Records. In North Carolina, it might be the Hall of Records. Here in PA, it's called the prothonotary, and I think also in South Carolina, it's called the prothonotary. You go in there, and actually for Pennsylvania, we have who's ever in charge of the tax deed sale, the tax deed sale is the Tax Claim Bureau. So in North Carolina, I believe it is the treasurer or the tax collector. So you would go to the tax collector and ask to see the file on that property, and you would look for those little green cards that are signed by whoever received the notification that that property is going into a tax sale, and that because the lien holder and the owners would have received those, and would have to sign off that they've received them, that they've received the notification that that property is going into a tax sale, because what that means is if they don't pay the taxes, they're at a loss. Okay, but you can always, I always recommend checking with in each state, because as I said, I'm not an expert in North Carolina. So check first with whoever is responsible for the sale. In North Carolina, I believe it is the tax collector, and ask what survives a tax sale, what liens survive a tax sale. All government liens will survive a tax sale, and in some states now, homeowners association liens will. In Florida they do, and in Georgia they do. Okay, this is a very good question, by the way. And then, so the fifth step is to actually go to the sale and bid at the sale. And sometimes you're going to be doing this online. Now, if you're doing it online, which a lot of the sales now because of COVID are online, North Carolina is not. They're still live. They're still all live. South Carolina is still all live. But a lot of the other parts of the country are now online because of COVID that weren't online before. So if you're doing this online, then you don't have to worry so much about having the right funds. You just have to have them in the right account, because everything is going to be done by ACH debit, ACH deposit, or wire transfer. Okay, but the fifth thing you want to do is show up and bid at the tax sale. And the sixth thing that you want to do is there are things to do once you buy, after you buy the lien or deed, to protect your investment and maximize your return. And then the seventh step is when you actually make money and cash in on your investment. Okay, so let me take you through this, these different steps. Now, to help you with step number 1, I have my state guide, which shows you what happens in every state, so that you know what states sell tax liens, what states sell tax deeds, and what states sell redeemable deeds, and how they do their bidding in each state. It even has a pretty good description of what happens in North Carolina. And I'll give you, I'll show you where you can get that later, but that's the first thing that you want to do, is choose the right place to invest. Now I'm going to give you 6 things to know before you choose the right place to invest. And those 6 things are the interest rate. And these really apply to more to liens than they do to deeds, because deeds are pretty obvious. You're going to the sale, you're bidding on the property, and you're buying the property. Okay, and it's only in redeemable deed sales that you want to know, well, that you're going to get an interest rate or a penalty if it is redeemed. But in straight deed sales, like North Carolina, like Pennsylvania, you don't have to worry too much about the interest rate or the penalty. You don't have to worry about that at all. But in deeds, in redeemable deed states and in lien states, you want to worry about these 6 things: the interest rate, the bidding procedure, the redemption period, the expiration period. And this is something that other experts don't tell you, is that liens do expire. I'm not talking about a redemption period. I'm talking about if you keep them too long after the redemption period's over and you don't do anything, they will expire worthless. Okay. And sometimes there is a penalty in addition to the interest rate. And you also, in some states, have to pay subsequent taxes. Some states require you to do that. Some don't require you to do that, but you can. And some don't let you do that until after the redemption period's over. So you just need to know how that works. And so what I'm going to do is just give you an example from New Jersey, which is one of the most complicated states to bid in, because they do have an interest rate and a penalty and 2 different bidding procedures. Okay, so the statutory interest rate is 18%, and it is bid down at the sale. And premium can also be bid. It's the only state that does this. Like, first they'll bid the interest rate down to 0, and then they'll bid premium to get the lien. They're not going to get any interest on the certificate amount or the premium amount, but they will get that money back if it redeems in 5 years. Now, the redemption period is only 2 years. So after 2 years, they can force redemption by starting foreclosure, and they will get that money back. So why do they do that? And you might say, well, because they're going to get the property. No, that's not why they do that. They do that because they can pay the subsequent taxes and get the maximum rate, 18%, on all the subsequent taxes they pay. The redemption period is 2 years, and the life of the lien, this is like one of the longest expiration periods, is 20 years. In most states, it's a lot shorter, and you have to do something as soon as that 2 years is up. But in New Jersey, you could let it go a lot longer. And I'm going to show you a lien that I held for, actually, I don't think I have it on this, in this presentation, but I did have a lien that I held for quite a while, and you know, doubled my money on it when it finally redeemed. But the only reason I was able to do that was because it was in New Jersey. And it was just a small lien, and I just kept, you know, putting like $500 away each year on that lien. And after 7 years, I stopped paying, and then a couple of years later, it redeemed, and I doubled my money on that. Okay, and so the other things there, okay, there is also, remember I told you there's a penalty in New Jersey as well as an interest rate. So even though if you bid it down to 0 and you're not getting any interest on that certificate amount, you still get a 2 to 6% penalty on the certificate amount, depending on how large that tax lien certificate was, how much you paid for the lien. Okay, 2% for liens that are $200 to $5,000. If it's under 200, you don't get a penalty. 4% for liens over 5,000, and 6% for liens that are over 10,000. Sorry for my hesitation. I'm just trying to move my controls here for the Zoom so that I could see what's on my slides. All righty. All right, so that is, this is just an example of one state. And remember, it's different in every state. But in New Jersey, taxes are paid quarterly. So every quarter, on the 10th of the month that the taxes are due, they're considered late. And the lien holder can then pay the subsequent taxes and get 8% on any subpayments for the first $1,500 delinquent. So if the lien is $1,500, it's already $1,500 delinquent, and then they will get 18% on all their subsequent tax payments after that.
The question, Joanne, from
Yeah.
Anthony again. The penalty is for who? The tax lien holder, the homeowner?
The homeowner gets charged the penalty and it goes to the tax lien holder. Okay. All right, so this is an actual lien, and this was what the property looked like. This was the back of the property, what it looked like when I bought the lien. I purchased it in October of 2014 for only $155.13 because it was a utility lien. In some states, they will sell anything. This was in New Jersey. Remember, it's done by the municipality, by the town. And anything that you pay to the town, water, sewer, this was a water and sewer lien. In some towns, even the electric bill is paid to the township. So anything that you pay to the township can wind up in a tax sale. And you get a tax lien, and it's the same as a tax lien. And yes, you can foreclose on it when that redemption period is over. So I didn't get to pay the subsequent taxes at first because they were paid, but I paid the subsequent utilities, and then I got to pay the taxes also because the owner stopped paying the taxes. So I paid the subsequent utilities and taxes, but then in 2016, the property was destroyed by fire. So I thought, oh, this is a property I'm gonna get. Now this is just the back of the property. This is the front. It's attached to a Chinese restaurant, but it's a different owner. It's not part of the Chinese restaurant. It's 2 one-bedroom rental units. And the owner lived in this unit, okay? But he was in a bad way. And he was smoking in bed one night. I think he was drinking heavy and smoking, and he actually died in a fire. And this is what it looked like. This is not what it looked like after the fire. This is what it looked like after they started cleaning it up. See, I thought I was going to get this property, and I thought, oh, now I'm going to have to rehab it, and it's going to take longer for me to make my money. I just wish it would redeem, and guess what? Because the heirs did not want it at first, but they changed their mind, and it did redeem. So the original lien amount was $155.13. Back then it cost me $40. And New Jersey is a state where it is expensive to record your liens. Now it's $50 in the same county, because you record it at the county level, even though the lien is on the municipal level. And over the next 3 years, I got to pay the taxes on this property, which were about $3,000 a year, and the utilities. So I paid over $9,000 in subsequent payments. The foreclosure costs, because we started foreclosure, we didn't think it was going to redeem, were $1,200. And so my total cost there was $10,650.22, right? Well, it redeemed for $14,806.32. So we made about $41.50 on our investment, and you just can't do that in the bank. Of course, I mean, you could do better with uh, with real estate, but I didn't have to do any work. I didn't have to do any work to this property. Like I could have made more money if we rehabbed it and sold it, but that would have took me more time and more work, and I would have had to get the contractors and all that stuff. I didn't want to do it. Now this took a little longer because it went 3.5 years, but it was 39% on our money in 3.5 years. Okay, now, and you can do it faster than that. And I'm going to show you one later that I did in just a few months. Okay, so that was all step one. All right, finding the right place to invest. Because the other thing is, I was investing in New Jersey where property values are high. All right, so that's why that redeemed, because the property value there was high. If that same building was in Indiana, I probably would have wound up with it. Okay. The next thing you want to do is get the tax sale information. And then step 3 is to choose, and to get the tax sale information, you need to find out when and where the tax sale is held. And most of them are only once a year. And the terms and procedures for attending the tax sale, and you need the list of properties that are in the sale. Now, I use a resource for this that I make available to my members. And I'll tell you how you can get access to that later, but that tells me what tax sales are coming up all across the country. All right, and then step 3 is to choose the right properties to bid on. Now, this is the most important step, and whether you do this correctly or not can mean whether the difference between making a huge profit or maybe losing your money on this, right? And you guys should know that because you're real estate investors. Okay, and we don't have to, I'm not going to go through all the rest of the steps, but I just want to go over what they are. And then we already talked a little bit about this step 4, preparing to bid at the auction. And then remember, I'm going to give you guys access to my special report where you're going to get a little bit more information on each one of these. And what's important is your bidding strategy. So in step number 5, the next step is bidding, and you need to have a strategy, and you need to know, because this is an auction, and you know, if you've been to real estate auctions, you know people get carried away and they wind up paying too much for something. Well, it's the same thing with tax lien auctions. So it's best to go in there with your bottom line, you know, either how low you're going to bid interest or how high you're going to bid, and you stick with that. And you want to have some kind of strategy for bidding. Okay, and you need to know what you're bidding, because different things get bid at different sales. Now, remember, in New Jersey, they bid down the interest rate and then they bid premium. Now, in North Carolina and in Pennsylvania, most deed states, they're just going to bid up the price. But in some states, in some tax lien states, and they don't do either, they will bid down percent ownership of the property should you actually get the property. Now, I don't really recommend those type of sales. So you need to know what is being bid at these sales before you bid. And some don't even do a bidding at all. They do like a round robin procedure or a random selection. So you really need to research that before you go to the sale. And then, of course, after the sale, there's things that you could do to protect your profit and maximize your return. And the very last step, and again, you can add to your investment over time, like I did in that one that I showed you. By just paying the subsequent taxes, it's like being able to put money away at 8 to 18% without going to the sale and bidding again. And step number 7 is cashing in on your investment, and that's when you actually when either, and there's 3 ways to do this, by the way. Either the lien redeems, or if it's a redeemable deed, the deed redeems and you get paid, or if it's a deed, you get the property, or a redeemable deed, you get the property, and then you could sell the property, develop the property, or rent the property, okay? But there's a 3rd way, and that is, if you don't want to hold on to it, you could sell your lien to another investor. So these are the three ways that I just talked about: redemption, foreclosure, which is where you actually get the property. And then the third way that I just mentioned is called assignment, when you sell your lien to another investor. Okay, excuse me, I'm getting hoarse, so I'm just gonna take a sip. Okay, so I'm gonna give you where to go to get your gifts. I also have a couple of other gifts for you too. But this is, now I told you also that I'd let you know one of the big myths about tax lien investing. How many of you have heard this? Don't go to the tax sale. There's so much left over, and you could go right to the county and buy it from the county and get it at the maximum interest rate without bidding at the sale. Has anybody heard that? Go ahead and type it into the chat or the Q&A. And Kathy, you could let me know.
Yep, nobody must have heard it because they're not replying.
Oh, okay. Well, that's something that some tax lien investors gurus say, but it's not really true because they are competitive sales. So there's nothing good left over anymore. The best way to get good properties is to either go to the sale or buy. Remember I told you can assign your lien to another investor? Now, there's two types of investors. There's investors that actually want the property and they don't mind doing foreclosures. And then there's investors that only do this for the return that they're going to get. So now it's getting close to the foreclosure period, to the end of the redemption period, when they actually have to foreclose, which means they have to come up with a little more money to pay an attorney and to pay the subsequent taxes if they haven't paid them. So a lot of these investors want to sell it. They don't want to be bothered with that. And this is a better way to get liens without going to the tax sale than buying them from the county. And let me show you this. Let me move. I gotta move these out of the way here. Okay. So this is a lien that I purchased from an agent who had bought it at a tax sale for a client, and they purchased the original tax lien investor. The original certificate was for $2,016, and so when they sold it to me, and this was an Illinois lien, by the way, and this lien was purchased at 18%. Now in Illinois, it is a penalty, not an interest rate, and it's 18% every 6 months. So in the 7th month, there's another 18% added. And this lien was a 2.5-year-old lien, so it was accruing quite a bit of interest. But the investor was selling it to me at a discount of only 12% a year. So I paid the investor, this is what I paid, that $2,776.85 was my initial investment. And then I went ahead and paid foreclosure fees of $1,250. So my initial investment with the foreclosure fees came to just about $4,026 or $4,027, right? But then it redeemed. Okay, it didn't foreclose, it redeemed, and it redeemed for $6,020. So I made close to $2,000 on that lien. All right, and let me just move these pictures. So I made close to 50% in 15 months on that lien, because remember, I bought it when it was ready to foreclose. So I started the foreclosure, and guess what? It would have been 9 months, but this is what happened. The county lost the check. They sent it to they sent it to me, or they thought they sent it to me. They lost the check and had to send it again. So that's why it took 15 months instead of 9 months. So there is a way to make your money faster on tax liens. Okay, but you can lose money if you're not careful and you don't know what you're doing, which is why I do what I do. I teach people how to do this. And let's see, this is, remember I showed you Dan Lutz before, and what I'm going to give you, one of the things I'm going to give you is my state guide. Well, Dan just got my state guide, and after studying my state guide, you could read what he said here. I was working in a dead-end carnival job. Well, I always wanted a way out and wanted to own my own home. I didn't even have a place to call home besides living in bunkhouses on the road. So I started looking online for ways to buy my own home for little money because I wanted to get in on real estate investing. I got your state guide and read it 3 times. Then I had an idea on what to do. I studied and researched some more, and now I don't work for the carnival anymore. I own 2 homes, and I'm planning to buy more fixer-uppers to rent out. I am also currently ready to sell one of the houses. I have a buyer. Isn't that awesome? So now Dan bought at a deed state. He bought tax deeds, and I believe he bought in Oklahoma. And one of the things that I did to help people be able to do this is I put together a course, and it's my Advanced Tax Lien Investing Secrets training. And it shows you how to get profitable tax liens or tax deeds, not only at the sale, but it also lets you know about some advanced strategies, teaches you how to do some advanced strategies. It's 7 modules, which go through the 7 things the 7 steps that we just went over in depth, and 8 recorded Q&A calls that take you through the 7 steps. It also comes with my Tax Lien Investing Basics course, which is a $297 value. Now, I can go through and tell you what's in all the modules, but I don't know how much time do we have here left?
You have as long as you want. As long as these people stay here and listen to you.
All right, do you guys want to know what's in these modules, or do you want me to start answering questions?
Send a chat, y'all.
Do you guys want to know more about what's in this course? I got to tell you, I have a real...
I got one yes wants to know more, and one wants you to answer questions. What's
okay.
in the modules? It's 2 to 1, 3 to 1. All right, 3 to 1. Let's learn what's in the modules.
Okay. All right. So in module 0, it kind of is a welcome, but it shows you how to use the bonuses and how to get the most out of the course. In module 1, you're going to learn how to find the best place to invest. I'll show you how to get the results of past tax sales so you know how much money you need, and how to use the resources I use to find out what tax sales are coming up around the country. And when these tax sales, and not only does it show you what tax sales are coming up around the country, but when the tax sales are coming up, so that you have time to plan your investing. Because, you know, some of these tax sales, especially the ones online, some of them you have to register for in advance, sometimes weeks in advance. So you need to know when those tax sales are coming up. And even if you don't have to register in advance, some of them want you to put up a deposit. And this way you get to know all the details in advance, so you know what you have to do to take part in them. Now, the second module, getting the tax sale information, you're going to discover where to find the places that have online tax sales. So you don't have to physically attend the sale if you don't want to. How to get the tax sale information online, by phone, or by email, so that you could do everything without leaving home. Except I do recommend, especially if you're buying properties, if you're buying deeds, that you actually either look at the property or have somebody look at it for you before you buy. And that's, well, you guys are real estate investors, you know this. You know that if you look at a Google map or you look at the pictures on Zillow, that those are not always current. And the property might be burnt down that was there a year ago when that picture was taken, you know, so that's why you want to look at it first, or have somebody look at it for you. And what tools and resources are available to make getting the tax sale information and doing your due diligence easy for you. As a matter of fact, I have a webinar coming up in August. It's my wealth building webinar. It's the second Wednesday of August. That's showing a new tool that I found to make doing due diligence for the Florida tax deed sales really easy. So I'm always finding new tools to help with this. And in module 3, researching the tax sale properties, you'll find out how to filter the tax sale list to narrow down the list of properties to research, because some of these sales have thousands of properties in the sale. Some of them only have hundreds, some of them only have 10. Well, North Carolina only has like 1 to 5 in most of the sales, but some of these have, multiply that by 1,000. So how do you narrow it down so that you're not looking at a whole bunch of properties? Well, I'll show you how to do that, and how to pick the best places in those counties to invest, how to research the properties so that you only bid on the profitable ones, and the 3 common mistakes most new investors make and how to avoid them, how to find the assessment. Now, you guys probably know this already, how to find the assessment and market data for tax sale properties online, but some states have special tools for doing this that might make it even easier. And comps. I have tools for finding comps too. And real comps, not Zillow comps, right? Not only comps, but bought and sold information, like who was the buyer and seller and what was the mortgage, all that kind of information on houses. And some of these tools you have to pay extra for. Some of them are free. Usually the more information you get, those are the kind of tools that you have to pay a little bit more for. So sometimes you might want to use the free tools and do a little more work, and sometimes you might want to have everything at your fingertips and use the tools that you pay a little bit of money for. And what you need to watch out for when you're investing in land, there's certain things that you want to do for that. And in module number 4, we're going to go over the bidding procedures so that you know how to bid in the state that you're going to. How and when to register, because remember I told you, like, some of these things you need to register ahead of time, and what to bring with you to register to bid if you have to register in person. And I'll show you how to prepare a bid sheet so that you don't get caught off guard when you go to a live auction, and how to be prepared with the right form of payment for the properties that you bid on. Remember, I talked to you before about my client that I made sure that he had a bank that was right around the corner from the sale so that he could pay for any bids. Because here's what happens if you're not ready to pay for any successful bids. You lose them and you get barred from future sales. So you don't want that to happen. And you'll also learn bidding strategies for both the live and online auctions so that you know what to do to be successful. Okay. In module 5, protecting your investment, that's where you're going to learn what you do after you purchase a lien or deed to protect your investment and maximize your return on investment, right? And I'll show you the software that I use to track my investments and my profits. Unfortunately, the software that I personally use is no longer available, but there are others available that I will show you. And I'll also show you how to do it with just a spreadsheet. And I actually have a template of a spreadsheet that you could use. And I'll show you ways to track your liens and your profits so that you don't miss any important deadlines, and how to clear the title on your tax deed, which is something that you have to do. You do get the lien the deed free and clear of any other encumbrances, usually, except, as we talked about before, except for government stuff, but you get a either what's called a tax title, or now some states do give you a warranty deed, but most states don't. You get a it's like a quit claim deed. Some do give you a quit claim deed, so you have to clear the title to, if you want to sell it to somebody that's getting a mortgage, because they're going to require title insurance. So I'll show you easy ways to do that, and also let you know whether you need to record your lien or deed and how to do it, because in some states you have to, in some states you don't. In module 6, advanced strategies for investing in tax delinquent properties, you'll discover strategies to profit faster, like the one I showed you, buying secondary liens and tax foreclosed properties. You could also buy properties, because Here's what happens with brokers who sell liens, or or agents who help people buy liens. If they have to foreclose on properties, they can't own the properties, just like these tax lien investing funds. They're really not in business to own these properties, so they need to sell them. So you could buy tax foreclosed properties, and sometimes that's easier to do than buying them at a deed sale. Okay, and I'll show you where to do that. Ways of making money from tax delinquent properties without even going to the tax sale. And a brand new strategy that I only just found out about a couple of years ago that nobody teaches this one. It's actually like syndicated liens. Like you could buy a piece of a lien. It's amazing how that works. So, or sell your lien, syndicate your lien, sell piece. I did that with one of my liens, by the way. I didn't want to wait for it to foreclose, and I wanted to get my money faster. So I put it on this website that let me do this, and I sold portions of it. And I kept a portion of it. So then when it did redeem, I still made more money, but it's pretty interesting. Yeah, nobody else teaches that one. And we'll review everything that you learned in the previous lessons. Okay. So you'll learn everything you need to know to buy profitable tax liens or tax deeds now and for years to come. Now, the great thing about this, was recorded live in the fall of 2019, so you could use it right away for the tax sales that are coming up now. And I've got a real special offer for you, because you might be wondering, well, how much does this cost? And I will tell you, on my website, you could go to my website and see that it is, it's called the Advanced Tax Lien, well, I always call it Atlas for short, so I forget the long name. Advanced Tax Lien Investing Training, okay? Advanced Tax Lien Investing Secrets Training, okay? So I call it Atlas for short. But it's $19.97 on my website, but I have, but you guys are not going to pay that much at all. And I have some bonuses that the course comes with, which is the Tax Lien Investing Basics course that I told you about. Another course called Tracking Your Liens, which is a $149 course, and it comes with a 3-month trial subscription in the Tax Lien Profits Accelerator, which is a $447 value. Now, it also comes with lifetime access to our private Facebook group, where you could get questions answered by me and network with other tax lien and tax deed investors. But I'm also going to add some bonuses I've never added before, just for you guys. And so I'm going to tell you where to go to get the course. And when you go to this page, you'll also see 2 of your free gifts. It's at taxlienlady.com/TRIA-course. So if you go to www.taxlienlady.com/TRIA-course, you'll see that for you guys, it's only $9.97. So I'm giving you, not only am I giving you $1,000 off, but also going to give you some special things that I've never done before, because I've just had 2 workshops this year to update 2 of my courses. I had a workshop on buying tax liens online 2020 and online tax deed sales 2020. And so you're going to get those recorded workshops as well. And I have a live workshop coming up on the Michigan tax sales, which happen this fall. They start September 1st. So, and I told you when I showed you the slides of all the states that have tax sales that are coming up, Michigan wasn't on there because they don't start until September 1st. So I didn't add them to the slide, but there's tax sales are September and October. And that is one of the, and most of them are online. Most of those tax sales are online. And I'm doing a training on that, a live training on August 16th. And when you purchase this course, you'll also get in on that live training with me. All right, also in that 3-month subscription that you get access to the tools that I use. A tool that I use to do diligence for tax lien sales, and the tool that I use to find out what tax sales are coming up around the country. Plus, you get a group coaching call with me each month, and another webinar with me each month. So you really do get a lot. This is somebody who took my course, Arlene, and she said, after taking your course, I got 3 liens, that should say liens, not lien, my bad, in Charles County, Maryland. Many thanks, Joanne. And again, here's where you go. And even if you're not going to get, if you're not interested in the course, go there anyway, because what I want you to do is go to the bottom here. I'll show you. And then I'm also going to give you the place to go to get your other free gift, which is the free report. And then I'm going to also answer questions. Let me see how I'm doing on time here. Okay. I'm going to the page right now. And here it is. And this, it's not a sales pitch. It just tells you what you get with the course. And you see that, and if you go to my website to the sales page, you'll see that it's selling for $19.97. And the sales page is kind of a long URL, so I'm not, but if anybody wants to see it, it's at taxlinginvestingsecrets.com/advanced-training. And you'll see that it sells there for $19.97, but for you guys, it's $1,000 off. And if you scroll down and it says click here for your attendance prize, so even if you're not interested in the course, go to this page and click here, and that's going to take you to a page where you could download. You don't even have to sign up for anything. You could download, I'll show you. You're going to download the state guide, and I have another gift for you. It's a checklist. This is a tax lien investing checklist. You could download it right here. And this is my state guide that you could download right here. Now, for the report, you do have to sign up to get that, and I'm going to tell you where you can go to get that. You could go to taxlienlady.com/tria.gift. Okay. And I don't know, can you, Kathy, are you able to put that in the chat for them? The link for that 7-step report?
Yes. Will you say it one more time?
Yeah, it is www.taxlienlady.com/tria-gift.
Got it. Done.
Okay, great. And yeah, so that if that link should work. And you might have to sign up for that one.
Tria-gift, right? Not dot.
Gift, yeah.
Tria-gift.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, all right. So let me go back to here. Okay, and this is just Birgit again. She says she's attended under other tax lien programs, but Joanna's made the biggest impact in her tax lien business. And again, this is where you're going to get that checklist as well as the state guide, taxlienlady.com/tria-course. And for the 7-step report, it's tria-gift. Okay. All right. So I have some frequently asked questions. I already told you where you can get this for only $9.97. So you guys know that. What if you don't live in a lien state? Because you guys don't. You live in North Carolina. Can you still invest in tax liens? Yes, you can. There's only one state that you need to be a resident of the state to invest in tax liens, and that's Missouri. But the other states, you can invest in tax liens from a distance. You don't have to live in that state. And can you start out with a small amount of money? Yes, you can. You saw that lien I started out with $155. if you have a full-time profession, will you be able to do this? Yes, you will. You really only need to put in, I mean, you guys are real estate investors. You know you can invest in real estate without having to do it full time. It's the same with tax liens. You do have to put in a little time, but you could do that evenings and weekends. And because some of these sales only happen once a year, you're only going to do that for a couple of weeks out of the year.
So
If
how
you're only
many
going to
of them
invest
are only once a year, Joanne?
well, if we go to the ones that are coming up, let's see, hold on a second. Let me go back to that slide.
So do some states do it the whole for the whole state instead of by county?
No, it's by county. Most states are by county, and some states in New England and in New Jersey, it's by city. Even some states that have county sales, the bigger cities might have their own sale.
So when you say they only do it once a year, for example, on these lists that you gave us are coming up next month, is that all the counties in their state are doing it next month or just some?
Well, sometimes all the counties do it at the same time of year, and sometimes all the counties do it on the same day. And I'll tell you which are which. Like for instance, are you talking about, well, I'll go over both tax lien and tax deed states. So the ones that are coming up next month, Louisiana happens whenever they feel like it. New Jersey, each town gets to decide when they want to do it. So it can be all through the year. Wyoming happens at, each county decides when they want to do it. Or they might have Wyoming might have a time of year they do it. But they don't all happen at the same time. So they're spread out a little bit. Montana, the same thing. They don't all have to do it at the same time, but they might do it on the same season, the same time of year. Vermont, again, Vermont is done on that's New England. It's done on the municipal level, and each municipality gets to decide when they want to do it.
So
they can have it anytime.
States have tax sales coming up next month. There's at least some municipalities or counties in these states that have.
Exactly. Not all of them, but there's some of them, with the exception of Mississippi, where they're all going to happen on the same day.
Wow.
Okay. And Missouri, they might not all happen on the same day, but most of them are going to happen on the same day. And Missouri as well. They all happen on the same day. Missouri, they're the August 24th. I believe it's the fourth Monday. It's always the fourth Monday of August. And Mississippi, I believe it might be the last Monday in August. And Rhode Island, again, is in New England, so each municipality gets to decide when they want it. Now, Maryland tax sales they usually happen in June, in May and June, but what happened because of COVID, they were delayed. So they're happening now. And they're usually not all on the same day, but all the counties usually have them in May and June. So they usually have them the same time of year.
So is it then usually there are, in any given month, you could probably find a tax lien sale somewhere?
Yes, in some state. As a matter of fact, any given month, you could find a tax lien sale in New Jersey.
So Steve Hand has two questions. One, yeah. Do you think COVID will put pressure on people's ability to pay their taxes, thus making more liens available? And two, do you think COVID will push governments to provide more time to pay, thereby reducing the number of liens available?
All right. Well, let me tell you what happened in Florida. Because of COVID, they gave people more time to pay their taxes. Guess how much time they gave them? Anybody take a guess? How much time did they give them? Gave them more time.
A year.
Oh. 2 weeks.
What?
Oh, wow. That's generous of them. That's Florida.
What?
Yeah, they gave them 2 weeks. Now, some states did cancel their tax sales for this year because of COVID. But I don't know if they gave people more time to come up with the taxes. The whole idea of canceling their tax sales was they didn't want people to gather. because they have live tax sales. States that have, and some states that normally have live tax sales decided, Alabama had online tax sales for the first time. Not all counties, but some counties had online tax sales for the first time this year.
Might be have a little glitch, Joanne. Scott Linden is saying the TRIA course and the TRIA gift seem to be the same document. Is that correct? Is that how it's?
No, it shouldn't be. And let me just go there and see what's going on. Hold on. So if you go to taxlienlady.com, whoops. Tria.gift. Let's see where that goes.
Joanne, while you're doing that, would you remind me, you said there were 2 free gifts. The one that we put into the chat at www.taxlienlady.com/tria-gift.
That's this one right here. This is the page it goes to, and that's the one you have to sign up for.
That one you have to sign up for. And then what was the one that you don't have to sign up for?
So before you get this, let me tell you, when you sign up for this, you will be getting information from me and my newsletter. You can opt out anytime you want. I just want to be totally transparent and let people know. So you will be getting emails from me and I do send out stuff quite often. If you don't want to get it, you could sign up for this and then you could always unsubscribe when you want to. The other 2 gifts are at taxlienlady.com, this page, which is taxlienlady.com. So they're not the same page, they are 2 different pages. This one is taxlienlady.com/TRIA-course will take you here. And when you go down here, this is the other 2 prizes. So your other 2 gifts are here, and that is the state guide and the checklist.
And you just click on the gift, and that one, there's nothing to sign up for. Okay.
There's nothing to sign up for. You won't get on my list.
We had someone who got booted out of the meeting and just came back, so I just wanted to go over that and make sure it was clear for her.
Okay. All right. All right, so I was answering a question. I don't think I finished answering it. Okay.
Yeah, it was a 2-part question about COVID.
Yeah. And I don't think I finished answering the previous question too, because I went over the lien states, but I didn't go over the deed states as to when they happen. So, or where, in how they happen in each state. But let's do the COVID question first. So do I think that there's going to be, I do think there's going to be more available because of COVID, and not just because of COVID, because we can't blame this on COVID. COVID actually, I think, helped people out with the extra unemployment money that people got from, but what happened before COVID even happened is our economy's not so good. Even before COVID, our economy was not good. Now, COVID destroyed it. Small businesses, COVID, and it wasn't COVID that destroyed small businesses. It was the governors, your governor and my governor, are 2 of the major ones, that decided to close everything down indiscriminately. And that really hurt small businesses. And that's going to hurt people. But even before that, our economy was not good. It's like the emperor has no clothes and nobody's willing to say anything about it. And in my book, I had somebody do a drawing for me of that scene in this story, The Emperor Has No Clothes. And there's a story of one of my subscribers at the time who was a foreigner and had been to a lot of different countries, and he saw what was going on in our country that a lot of us didn't even see. I mean, foreigners can see how bad things are financially here. We just keep printing more money. Everybody's in a lot of debt. Our country's in a lot of debt. We just keep spending money. And hey, I'm guilty. I'm in debt. What American isn't? So do I think that this is going to, that there's more tax liens going to be available? And I think yes. And that happened back in 2008 to 2010 when the economy wasn't so good and real estate. That's the other thing. We're in a real estate bubble, and they keep preventing it from popping. How do they do that? Well, they just keep lowering rates. You can't they're artificially keeping interest rates low. It's making that bubble expand bigger and bigger and bigger, but it's going to pop sooner or later. And I see some heads shaking. You guys are real estate investors. You know what I'm talking about. And this is why I haven't bought an investment property. And when I buy investment properties, I buy bank foreclosures. And I only do like one a year. Because I teach tax lien investing and I do tax lien investing, I don't have time to do everything. So, but I haven't bought a property in 2 years because I see people paying too much money for these properties, these real estate properties in my market. I don't know how it is in your market. And I don't even have a RIA here anymore because what happened in 2008, people left. The people that were in our RIA left and the whole RIA disbanded, and we don't even have that here anymore. So I'm kind of going off on a tangent, but do I think it's going to increase? Yeah, I do think it's going to increase, and COVID isn't the only reason. It's the straw that broke the camel's back. However, it's not going to happen yet because prices are still going up on real estate. People are still paying too much money, and because the Fed keeps lowering interest. So I don't know
what. Have any questions? Stick them in the chat. We're getting ready to wrap up.
Yeah. Oh, and let me go back to the other question too. The deed states. So let me go back to that, and then if we don't have any, we're going to wrap up. Did I hear somebody that wants to ask a question? Okay, so these deed states, let me let you know which, okay. So North Carolina, they kind of happen sporadically whenever the counties decide to have, and of course they don't have that many. Illinois, now Illinois has liens and deeds. Their lien sales happen in the fall. Their deed sales happen now, but they're not all at the same time. Florida is a state that has deed sales all the time because in Florida is also a lien state. And what happens in Florida with the tax liens is that you don't get to foreclose on the lien when the redemption period's over. What happens in Florida is that you apply for the lien to go into a deed sale and to satisfy your lien. And then if nobody else bids on it, then you could get it, or you could outbid who's ever bidding on the property and get the property. Now, but what happens is that is a continual feed of deeds into the deed sales in Florida. So some of the bigger counties, they might have deed sales every week, or a couple times a month. They can have them more than once a month. New York, each county gets to decide when they want to have it. Some of them are online, just like the Florida, a lot of those are online. Wisconsin, some of those are online, but like North Carolina, they don't have a lot available. However, each county gets to decide when they want to have theirs. Virginia, they don't have a lot available either, and they're kind of sporadic. Pennsylvania, they all happen at a given time of year, but each county gets to decide when they want to have them. So in the fall, they have their remember I told you there's two types of sales. There's an upset sale, where if you buy in that sale, you're responsible for any mortgages or liens, and then 6 months later, they have the judicial sale where everybody's been notified, and if you buy in that sale, all those liens go away. You buy it free and clear of any encumbrances or liens. Well, one sale is in the fall, and then the other happens in the spring. And I get them mixed up as to which sale happens, especially now, because what happened was they were supposed to have sales in the spring, and now they've been postponed until the fall. So I believe it's the upset sale that happens in the fall and the judicial sale happens in the spring. But now these judicial sales are happening because they've been postponed from COVID. Tennessee, each county decides when they want to have theirs, but most of them happen around the summertime. Idaho, I'm not sure when they happen because that's a state that doesn't have a lot available. Georgia and Texas, they happen, larger counties can have them every month, the first Tuesday of the month. Ohio, each county decides when they want to have it. Louisiana happens like all over the place, whenever they want to have it. Nevada, each county decides when they want to have it. Same with Oklahoma. Delaware, some counties in Delaware can have a sale more than once a year, as often as they need. It could be every quarter. It could be twice a year, depending on what they have available. And Kansas, I'm not sure about because I don't do I don't do any of the deed sales in Kansas. And I haven't had any clients that have done deed sales in Kansas. But that should answer that question pretty thoroughly only for the ones that are coming up in the next month.
We do have one other question from Eric Johnson. You stated in North Carolina there's a period when we could be outbid if the winning initial bids, I don't know, he must not have finished that thought. But
yeah, in order to outbid, it does have to be a certain amount over the initial bid.
I think it's 15%.
Yeah, I forget what that amount is, but you know what? That's in my state guide. If you read through my state guide, it'll tell you all the details. I don't go around with all that stuff in my head. I did the research for it and I update it I think I updated the state guide either in 2018 or 2019. It regularly has to be updated because there's always, and I'm going to have to update it again because of COVID. A lot of things have gone online that were not online before. So, which is why I did those workshops to update. I have courses that are just for the online sales, which I had to update because of that. So, and you guys are going to get those workshops that I did when you purchase the Atlas course at $1,000 off. You'll also get those workshops that I did to update the Buying Tax Liens online course and the online tax deed course, and get into the live workshop for the Michigan tax sales.
Jim McClure says upset bids are 5% in North Carolina. And just so you'll know, it's 10 days. And then if someone upsets the bid, it starts over again. And that
another 10 days, yes.
Yeah,
So it can go on.
10 days go by with no upset bids.
Yeah, and it's not the only state that does that. There is another state that does that. But I recommend, it depends on where you live. Now, you guys are probably in the middle of the state because Raleigh is kind of in the middle of the state. But South Carolina is a state that I like. I've been there with clients, and I have a client who has invested heavily in South Carolina. It's very easy to get the property. It's a year redemption period. And you don't have that 10-day nonsense. Of course, you have to wait a year redemption period.
If that year passes and they don't redeem, then that's when you have to foreclose?
No, you just get the property, you get the deed.
And that's South
And
Carolina.
And that's South Carolina. And I believe in some states, they actually do give you a good deed to the property. You do have to pay them some money to, for a process, but it's not a judicial foreclosure, but you do get a warranty deed in some counties on the property. So it's a good